I am Ghada. I am 29 years old. I was carrying on my shoulders the burden of a bitter marriage experience that lasted for years. I never felt love towards my husband. On the contrary, marriage was like a cold prison. We were betraying each other in silence, each of us looking for a lost warmth somewhere else. My husband, generous, was a stingy person in every sense of the word. Stingy with his feelings, stingy with his time, stingy even with the simplest expressions of attention. I felt like I was living with a solid stone who did not care about my feelings and did not care about my happiness. Even in the moments of a private relationship, I felt like I was just a tool with no soul to share and no heart to beat. I never felt pleasure or satisfaction. On the contrary, it was a painful experience that increased my feelings of loneliness and alienation. I was suffering in silence, trying with all my effort to hide my deep wound. I didn't want to have children from this failed marriage. It was a decision I made with full awareness, because I didn't want to tie an innocent soul to this atmosphere charged with hatred and coldness. After 4 years of psychological torment, I decided to put an end to this farce. I asked for a divorce, and I got it in the end. I felt like I was born again, as if a heavy burden had been lifted from my chest. I began the journey of recovery and regaining my self-confidence. I engaged in new activities, met new friends, and began to discover new aspects of my personality that had been neglected throughout my marriage. One day, I met a nice man named Ahmed. Ahmed was a complete opposite of Kareem. He was generous in his feelings, caring about me, appreciating me, and respecting me. For the first time, I began to feel the meaning of true love, the love that gives me happiness and reassurance. I realized that the past was over, and that life still had many sweet surprises in store for me. I learned a harsh lesson, but it made me stronger and more mature. I realized that true love is worth waiting for, but what a loss! After a while of this beautiful life that did not last long, Ahmed was exposed to a huge loss in his work to the point that he became very nervous, and whenever I talked to him about anything, he would get very angry with me. I told him, "Don't worry about anything. My father left me a lot of money, and I will stand by you. You are my husband, and I must do this." But he did not like anyone to help him at all. His dignity was hurting him greatly, and he repeated his desire to immigrate abroad to Australia because his sister was there, and he wanted to start over in a new country. I did not want to travel with him, especially since he became very nervous for the most trivial reasons. So I told myself that it would not be possible for us to continue together, and that there was no justification for staying in a harmful relationship that destroys the soul.